Rip. I don't even use Stream Elements. Why are you down? Why? My internet's fine right now. So what? Oh. 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 Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. It looks like we're back in the green, baby. We're back in the green, baby. We are so back. Yeah, we're back. We're back. I don't know what the spike there was. Know how I feel. You were back and I don't use OBS? Yeah, it started hiking itself back up out of the reds. I don't know why that's been happening, but whatever. It's a new day. It's a new life. A new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Probably a bug or something, yeah. Feeling good. Why the fuck is it so warm? I want to sleep. Yeah, I hope it cools down for you. Let's hope we can finish the line art today, chat. I know it's a short stream, but we'll see if I can get that much done. Whoa. Whoa. Boom, 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 boom. Last year for the Naruto 20th anniversary, announced that there was going to be 4 special Naruto episodes that took place before the time skip, and Naruto is captain of Team 10. How the episodes got delayed and put on the back burner because they said the animation doesn't look as good as they want it to be. We have not heard a word from them since. Oh, I see, I see. Hmm. Supposed to be super cold today, but it's warm at night. The world makes no sense. It was kind of cold today. Thankfully. This thing is too long. Skylar, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Actually, chat with the armor, it might take me another 10 years. I'm just kidding. Boom, 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 boom. It's also gonna rain too. Ooh, that sounds humid and gross. I hope it's not too bad. Jinwoo armor, no lines. I know. That's the good part. It's all just. It's only like a couple lines. What the fuck you mean? Bananas, I should look at Jinwoo's armor. Nah, I definitely won't finish it by tonight. I'm only streaming for like another 30 minutes to an hour. I still got a pack for TwitchCon because I'm going to SD tomorrow. So I'll probably finish it in like a week or two when I come back. Unfortunately. Uh-huh. Walk. I don't feel like listening to this right now. Only draw important armor parts. Rest Shadow. Yeah. Shadow the Hedgehog. Oh, that's right. I forgot to fix his hair. I love Spring Day. Dude, I love Spring Day too. I feel like it's a little bit underrated. Yeah, I don't know about top 3, but it's definitely up there. Hi, Skylar. How does one achieve drawing skills like this? Practice. That's really all there is. Practice and smart practice. If you want to see how my art looked 2 years ago, this was my art 2 years ago. Oh my god, that's a flashbang. Holy shit, that's bright. Ow, my eyes. Yeah, this was my art 2 years ago. I drew maybe once a week, and then just recently I have like last month I started practicing for the first time. I recommend doing this earlier. I recommend not starting so late. But yeah, practice a bunch, trace a bunch, reference a bunch. Obviously, when it comes to tracing, tracing's a really good technique when you get started, but you only obviously never post traced work as your own. The best way to practice is like here, let me see. Like here, I'd show you how to practice anything you want to learn how to draw. You know what? Here's a good example. We'll bring out these two. These are pieces by Reno Tuna. And if you wanted to get good at drawing, the first thing I would do is probably break it down. Like you want to break things down into steps. So if you want to learn how to draw faces, I would probably like start by like, yeah, find the things you want to draw as well. But you know, you could start like tracing basic things, right? Like, boom, that's a face, eyes, like there, and then like, okay, cool, neck, and then simplify things more. And it's like, boom, okay, cool, you got like a basic body, and then you know, you could try like replicating that with these simpler shapes. Boom, and then you know, like, it's like here, it's gonna be like this and something like this. Obviously that won't be exactly the same, but that's why, like, when you're learning, like, tracing can be really helpful with like learning proportions and stuff. And if you trace a shit ton of like faces, and if you trace it, like, if you like just want to learn how to draw faces, I would trace a shit ton of faces from your favorite artist. Get it like as exact traced as you can, right? Obviously never post traced work as your own. Boom. And now you have that face that's traced. And then, you know, you have your circle. And then you would try to like draw it on your own. And this is good practice to show for me too, since I'm not great at this. I'm obviously rushing through this too. And try to like look at like, okay, where are the points that like meet up, right? Like, how far does the eyes look? How far does the nose look? And then what I would do is, with that referenced image, the one that you traced, or you like redrew, you can like resize it over like the initial drawing and be like, oh wow, shit, I clearly have the eye level wrong, the eyebrow level wrong because of that, and the ears are wrong. The face angle is wrong, but I did get the mouth kind of right, and the nose is wrong. So I would then basically copy this and move it over and be like, all right, cool. So my eyes were too low. My ear was too low. Let's raise the ear. My eyebrows and my eyes way too low. Probably at a bad angle too. My nose would be higher. And this ear was at a weird angle. And then it's like, boom. All right, now let's see how much closer this is. Still not perfect. This eye is still low, and thus the eyebrows are low. And it's like, boom. Okay, all right, cool. Now try again. You just basically got to keep doing that until you like get that ratio that's correct. And then eventually, I try not to trace. Yeah, but like, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, chat. I traced a ton. Um, Not like as a bad thing, but when I was first starting out drawing, my first month of drawing, it's technically a little bit of a lie to say I've never done art studies, because I did do about like a week straight of art studies, but not like actual proper art studies necessarily, like breaking things down one by one and like building up. I more just traced a shit ton of artists' art completely. Um, and from things that I liked, like if I liked a certain artist's anatomy, I would like trace it so I can get used to like drawing curves, drawing lines. And while you're tracing, if you're actively tracing, like you're not just copying tracing, but you're like aware of what you're drawing while you're tracing, you slowly start picking up on like things while you're tracing. Because they're like, oh, you'll notice like after like your 40th art piece that you've traced, you'll kind of notice like, oh, um, like certain artists will like be like, okay, the forearm or the bicep is like this long, the forearm's this long, or like it like this is how big the face. Like you start learning and picking things up while you trace a bunch. Um, and like as long as you're doing it to learn and you don't post traced work and call it your own work, then like you're fine, right? Like I think that's ethical. This is traced too, but I have this picture right next to my canvas to try to replicate them more than tracing. Well, here's the thing, right? I think it's best you start by tracing, and then you move to replicating, and then you move to going off of memory, and then you every time you compare it to the original, right? That's actually what I think is the best way to study and how I would learn the fastest. Is I would definitely start by tracing and simplifying an artist's work, and then or a reference, right? Whether it's a photo reference or an artist reference, trace it first, and then once you've traced it, try drawing it on your own next to it, and then like compare it. And like even another thing you could do while you're comparing it is draw over in red like the parts that were wrong. And then if you go through, let's say like you go through 10 drawings that were you trace first, and then you copy it while the image is next to you, right? And then you like redline it, or like you see like what mistakes you're making a lot. How about I have not a good memory? Well, that's okay. That's why you break things down simple, right? Um, so like if you're starting, let's say like I took that piece from earlier, right? This piece right here, there's so much information, and it's so hard to pick up everything, right? There's a lot. I mean, there's clothes, there's the colors used, there's the way the clothes work, there's all that rendering, there's the hands, eyes, face. Like, there's so much information. It's impossible to like look at this and like be like, all right, boom, I got it all. So what I would do is I would just like isolate the face, right? Like I'm like, cool, I want to study this artist and how they draw faces. So I would trace the face first. Once again, not taking credit for the art, always credit the artist. And boom, it's like, okay, cool. I have a basic blueprint of what their face looks like. So I have this here, right? And now that I have this, what I would do next is try to replicate the face. I would then try to replicate the face next to it, right? Like I'm looking at the image and I'm using it now as a reference, right? So I'm not directly over line tracing. And obviously, it won't be good the first time you're doing this. Because especially if you've never held a pen before, you're not going to be used to like the feeling of you drawing lines or holding a pen or whatever. I'm constantly looking back and forth at my version of the drawing and the original. And I can already tell looking at this, I probably made the forehead too small here. And then what I would do is, boom, let's go over this and let's line it up, right? I obviously got the angle wrong. But my proportions itself, they're not too bad here. So what I would do is I would grab a red pen and I would make some corrections, right? Kind of like you're grading homework. I'd be like, all right, let's lower this one a little bit. Or let's lower this. Like, okay, the eyebrow's actually lower for that one. This ear is actually lower. And this eye is actually a little smaller. But everything else is not bad, right? Pretty accurate. I mean, this eye could be a little lower there, a little smaller here, right? And that's a good way to do those corrections, because then you could try again and keep in mind those mistakes that you made, and you're like, all right, cool, we're going to try this time to do it again. And you're like, all right, I got that face shape. And basically the good thing to do here is just, honestly, it sounds really tedious, but it's really effective. Hi, Demon. Is do this a bunch. Draw this same drawing a ton of times if you need to. I think there was a couple videos on it that I can send on the method. I'm not crediting this to myself. I remember this eyebrow was a little lower, this eyebrow was a little higher. And then boom. So now I would do the same thing with this one. And as you can see, after the corrections, it's a lot closer, you know? I fixed this eye. This eye looks a lot more in line. This eye is a little off still. And I'd be like, okay, cool. Good to know. I know this seems insane to do, but it does work because then you're practicing more and more and you're seeing like, it's a way to literally show you what mistakes you're making, right? It's a way to literally show you what is wrong with your art in like the... Not in a bad way. But yeah. So you do that side by side a bunch of times. And then what you do is you take the drawing away. And then you would try to draw it as much as you can remember from memory. And obviously this one's going to look the worst. Hi, Jinx. Like, obviously, this looks nothing like the original, right? But hey, it wasn't that far off. Granted, okay, the ear was a little too pointed down, and this eye is still messing up a lot. I'd be like, okay, cool. Have a bad habit of messing up this eye and the ear. And, you know, you just keep trying it, basically. And you can do that with a couple references. And that's one good way to get consistent. And you would do the same thing with hands. You'd be like, all right, cool. And you could simplify it in other ways, too. Like, let's say this is too hard, right? Like, it's too hard to just go off of, like, Also, Amelie and Jinx, thank you guys for the follow. Thank you. Let's say it's too hard to like look at this and be like, oh, there's so many curves and shapes that I don't really get, right? Like there's another artist on YouTube I know that was explaining like how he learned face. He's like, oh yeah, you just like boom, like you have a circle and then your line here, and you're like, okay, you learn like certain curves. Like this one makes like a this curve, and then it makes like a this curve, like a weird like S, like a he was explaining it like I don't know, like these C curves, I think he called it, and then like S curves, and then straight lines or something. So it's like boom, it's like this curve, S curve, this curve, and like little another C curve, right? And then you'd be like, okay, cool, I could draw a circle, and then I'm gonna remember it's a C curve, S curve, straight line, C curve, like, and then that's like how you can get like a rough idea of faces and stuff. But anyways, the other explanation, like if it's too hard, instead of like tracing a hand like this, like for example, for hands specifically, or like other body parts, faces are a little different. But let's say I wanted to learn how to draw hands through this tracing method, right? Obviously, once again, I'll say it a million times, tracing is bad if you're claiming it as your own art and not using it for your own practice in your own time away from everything else. So while it is cool to be like, all right, cool, I can like trace this and then be like, all right, I'm using it as a reference. I got like a rough idea. Okay, this looks awful, but like you get it. Like I got a rough idea of the hand. You're like, damn, this looks bad and I can't really. It's too complicated. What you could do in the beginning is just be like, all right, I see this shape, right? It looks like a square. This is another square. This is another square. Square, 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 square. And then like squares, right? Like, all right, cool. So it's much easier then to reference without it and be like, okay, square, 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 and then square and a square. It's like, wow, okay, cool. And then all you do after that is take that thing about the curves I said earlier and be like, oh, this type of curve, this type of curve. And then you could go to those squares you drew and readjust them to have those curves that you noticed, you know, and then boom, you erase all of this and this. And there you go. You have a much better looking hand off of that. But also just doing the shapes helps a lot with understanding. For example, when I was initially practicing, what helped me a lot just now was like, where's the hands? Yeah, like I drew a bunch of like, even going to bones and stuff is like not super necessary, but it can help. I did a lot of these studies where I would make a rectangle, like a rectangular prism, and then like the lines, right? And then you would be able to remember certain things, like, oh, the thumb, it's always got this shape to it, right? It kind of looks like a chicken leg or something. I don't know. And then you're like, okay, I know that fingers have 3 cylinders to it. Roughly, right? And it's like, wow, hand. But the other thing, getting used to drawing shapes, ignore this. Drawing shapes was helpful. Like I wouldn't like this crazy pose and this pose and this pose was only possible because I was like, oh, okay, cool. I can think of shapes, right? I know how to draw a cylinder. So I'm gonna draw a cylinder. And then another cylinder. And then like a box. And a circle, right? A sphere. It's like, okay, cool. Now I have the foundation for all of this. And the only reason I'm able to draw this arm is because I know how anatomy works, because I did my anatomy studies. So it's really art's all about building up. It's building up and working your way up. Because like, I mean, I just straight up drew without practicing for a while. I mean, I can show you like a couple months worth of progress. Actually, I think it was actually back here. Yeah, back here. This is the best way to show you. I always have time. I'm never busy, to be honest. So I'm always trying to get better at drawing. See, that's like the best thing. As long as you're motivated and patient, like you're chilling, dude. Like this was the first illustration I drew like 2.5 years ago, pretty much. There's a million mistakes here, and then what I did fix it recently. But like even ignoring the fixing, like this was like recent art, right? And then I drew this. And then this, which I was really proud of at the time and stuff. But reference a lot. When you're practicing, tracing is not a bad technique as long as it's only for practice. And then you can practice with your references and stuff. But as you can tell, during this time, I wasn't doing any practice. I was just drawing once a week what I wanted to draw. Watching YouTube videos, trying new things every drawing, referencing every drawing. But you can like see the clear progression over these 2 years or so. And then this is when I start making really good compositions. Oh yeah, and this was just practicing faces, I think. Some more fixes on these. These are. But yeah, like overall, as you can tell, there's definitely been a lot of art and getting better at art. There's so many pieces to it and different ways to practice. Honestly, if you're the type that likes to watch YouTube videos to learn how to draw, I have a lot of I actually have a lot. Chad, this is just actually for all of you guys in general, since this is an art stream. I'm not gonna gatekeep this shit from you guys. If you guys want any YouTube channels, or do you guys want me to recommend you guys YouTube channels or YouTube videos that are pretty helpful? All right. Mm. And the good thing is there's some variety in their styles. So you can get some, depending on what type of art style you want. There's a couple options here. To go. The other thing to do that's really helpful is watch a lot of artists. Follow a lot of artists that you like that make good art and post good art. Follow them, look at their art a lot. Look at what they do. People who stream art is really good because you get to see their like steps literally and their process a little bit. People like the speed paints are useful. This guy's really good. Mark Burnett is like a Blizzard artist. He does a little bit more semi-realism art. But he's got tons of videos on like drawing practice and studying. This guy has been one of my favorites recently. I swear to God, his videos are so helpful. I have been using his videos. I mean, you can probably tell based off of the studies I've been doing recently that I've kind of been ripping a lot of his study techniques off. But he's got a video on clothes, hands, light, body, faces, and head, coloring, like overall, like he's got a bunch of really good videos. His videos are nuts. Really helpful. And I really like his art style or sketching style. This guy, he has a ton of like insanely good videos. They're all in Japanese, but he has got English captions for I think like 90% of his videos. He does a lot of like art tip videos, but also a lot of art correction videos where he corrects and goes over and fixes, or not fixes, but like helps give advice and improve a lot of submitted art. So you can like always see like different, like every one of his videos are really good and helpful. Let's see. Blue has a couple videos on a more painterly art style for studying those things. Oops. I know Peacat has some good videos as well. Ori, there he is. That's what I was looking for. And then this guy Ori has some good videos. They're all really good. I've watched most of their videos just to like get some ideas on direction, because ever since I told myself, I was like, oh, I don't like my art much, I want to work on studies, because around like a month ago, or it was probably 2 or 3 months now, this is the last thing I drew, and then since then I've kind of been unhappy. I don't really like, at least with my art, I don't really like my art a lot. So this is actually the first thing I've drawn in 3 months, but I didn't really like my art a lot, so I started going through and like deciding to actually study and like learn how to draw, which I know sounds stupid to a lot of you guys, because like looking at a lot of my art, which is like even old stuff, or I mean recent stuff, I mean, like looking at like this, which I drew a couple months ago, it's like, holy shit, this is really good. Which, yeah, kind of. I won't disagree with that. I'm proud of this one. But I never learned how to draw. I just drew every day. Or not every day. I drew once a week for 2 years. And I somehow carried myself here. But I've been finding myself stuck a lot this past year and a half, where I have a lot of things I want to draw, but I just don't know how to, and like can't get myself to draw it as good. And I've been getting this feeling of being stuck. So I'm like, oh, it's probably time to like actually learn how to draw, like actually study, do the basics, do the fundamentals, do the drills. So that's what I've been doing. I first started off with faces, actually. Oops. Started with faces. I just drew a bunch of faces. This is like maybe 10% of the faces I drew. These are only what I drew on stream, but I did way more off stream as well, to get consistent and good at drawing faces. And then after that, it was hands. At some point, I did. I started working on poses and gestures, but I haven't really gotten through with this as much. But I still have a lot more to do, like painting, colors, clothes, hair, and all that other stuff. But yeah, definitely. If you just practice and study and like work your way up, and also practice the right way, right? You can get good by just putting a shit ton of hours in, but you'll skip a lot of that time if you know what you're doing and have good methods to practice. So I would definitely recommend doing that. Also, Wind and Animal Lover, thank you so much for the follow. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream. But yeah, like I would definitely say, like if I were to give myself a week, right? Or not like a week. If I were to give myself a real practice training, like I had a bunch of time. Let's say I wasn't streaming, right? Let's say I wasn't streaming and I didn't have to worry about school as much or whatever, but I practice on art and I wanted to do like, let's say I give myself an hour a day. What I would do, I'd pick one thing that I'm like, I don't think, actually no. What I would really do, I would make a drawing, right? Let's say let's start from Monday. I would spend maybe 3 hours and draw something, right? Spend as much time as I can, put as much effort as I can, do the best thing I can draw in 3 hours, and just make it, right? Like make this amazing art piece that I put all my time and effort into, 3 hours of time, right? Boom. That's my Monday, right? Monday, just put out this art piece, color it, render it, whatever you want to do, but just do something, draw something that is the best of your ability, and then look at it and be like, okay, what is one thing? Now you might be one of two people. You might be the type of person that's like, oh, everything looks bad, or you might be the type of person that thinks everything looks good and you can't really see your own mistakes. Both are kind of bad. But you want to be able to look at it and be like, okay, my faces look really weird. And then what I would do, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I would probably spend my Tuesday, Wednesday, I would look up videos, look up other stuff, how to draw faces, right? And I would just like take these notes or like look at it and be like, okay, these people are telling me this is how you would learn how to draw faces and whatever. And then I would spend Thursday, Friday, Saturday drawing a bunch of faces in these practice methods that this person told me. And then on Sunday, I would draw another piece, right? In 3 hours or whatever. And then you can be like, all right, cool. That's a good way to see, all right, I drew something, I put a goal down for myself, I researched, and then I practiced. And then I can see the results of that practice. And a lot of the times, it's not going to seem like you improved that much. And it's not going to seem like you made a lot of results. And you might still look at it and be like, damn, my faces still look bad. Do it again for another week. But if you keep doing that, you will be able to have that first piece that you did and be like, oh, wow, I really did improve this. And once you get good at faces, you're like, okay, cool. I don't like how I draw hands. You do the same thing with hands. You do the same thing with clothes. You do the same thing with poses. You do the same thing with hair. You do the same thing with coloring. You do the same thing with backgrounds. Like you literally keep doing that until you just become the best. I truly think that's like one of the best ways to improve at art. Assuming you have that time and assuming you have that ability, right? Every piece of art is an improvement / an experience. You're always improving. Yeah, exactly. Also, Win, thank you for the hydrate. Like another analogy, I came from esports before I was an artist, as well as like sports in general. And it's like, take basketball for instance, right? Um, like just looking at basketball. Yes, let's say there were two players, right? One player, ignoring talent, ignoring height, ignoring whatever. Let's say one player played basketball and they played a basketball game like every day, right? For 1 year. Or let's say like 3 times a week. But they're playing a like a full-on basketball game and they're really going at it hard. And then there's another person who plays one basketball game a week, but the rest of the week, one day they're practicing dribbling. One day they're doing like pure stamina endurance. They're running laps. They're doing push-ups. They're working out at the gym. And then another day they're just practicing free throws. Another day they're just practicing 3-pointers. And they do that for the rest of their time. The person that did like those little bits of practice like in chunks is going to be a lot better and improve a lot more than the person that just straight up played games. It's the same with art. Like, yes, you can just draw and finish a full art piece once a week, but it's much better to target things, you know? It's much better to be like focus on specific things and then put all those like specific things together. Because I alt tabbed. They will come together in the end. It's a slow race, right? So it may seem like the person that's drawing a lot more pieces will improve faster in the beginning, but it won't in the long run. The person that's building up little by little, piece by piece, is going to improve a lot more. I was the person that just drew a piece once a week, and now I'm regretting it because I'm stuck, which is why I have to go back now and practice and do my slow fundamentals. But yeah, which is why I definitely recommend like pile up the blocks little by little, you know. and it'll piece together. Every piece of art is, yeah, exactly. Low key, I want to continue drawing, but my mind is so scattered that I need more hands. Well, the thing is, like, you don't have to draw all the time either. Like, taking breaks is good. Being like, getting your own stuff sorted out is also good. Like, if you're someone that has a lot of like stuff going on, definitely like work on that first. Um, Always prioritize your health and what you need. That's always gonna be the most important. But there's never a rush to be like, you know, good at art or whatever. Just always take things at your own pace. And that's the best way you'll improve while also enjoying what you're doing. I'm giving all this advice like like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm also the person that made all the mistakes to be able to talk about things like this. I made the mistakes so other people wouldn't. Haven't missed you yet. Anyways, I know it's short, but I'll probably end in around 10 minutes, chat. I still have to finish packing and everything. But I'm gonna try to get as far as I can here as I can. I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably do some kind of art while I'm gone on my iPad on my trip. But it'll most likely just be sketches or work in progresses or whatever. Since it's definitely I'm not used to Procreate. Thank you for the headbats. No, I'm in no rush. I want to start a whole new projects, but then I start and forget about it. Oh, like just being scatterbrained. I mean, yeah, that's fine. That's fair. I mean, that's also like just ADHD brain or whatever. Or having a lot of ideas too. That's another thing. So having trackers can be good. Like setting goals for yourself is a good way to like ensure that you're gonna stay consistent. And when I stop to think about it. Thank you. I am pretty proud of how this one is turning out so far. Do I love you? I need to do a feet study or like a shoe study. Let's not say feet study. That sounds weird. It's weird because I feel like no, I need to do shoe study. I feel like I know how to draw feet, just like instinctively, just from drawing hands and like kind of understanding the shape. But I cannot draw shoes for some reason. I suck at drawing shoes well, especially at certain angles. So definitely at some point, I need to do a shoe study. Just gonna draw a bunch of shoes. It's gonna be so weird. I don't know how I want to do the armor waist down. Like the legs. Shoe length slash perspective annoying. Yeah, it's also the shoe shape. I feel like shoe shapes are weird. Sorry, I know I'm skipping like everything, chat. Like just properly getting the shape of a shoe to make it look right at the angle and like, because technically they're not like fully symmetrical, and then you got like that whole thing going on. It's just weird. I draw Uggs on my character. I just draw platform boots on a lot of my characters because for some reason that's easier. That's actually not a bad shoe. Hold up, let me capture that while I have that fresh in my mind. Always end up drawing suit shoes. See, I'm not good at drawing suit shoes. All right, we'll figure that part out later. We gotta shape down, and that's good enough for me. That is good enough for me. But my hair, that shit is eating right now. I know I can't be the only one that either just draws Uggs or drawing Skechers, light up shoes. I suck with sneakers. Like proper shoes. I can draw boots, but like sneakers are harder for me. I don't know why they always end up looking goofy. Let's draw without the armor first so I don't confuse myself to death. Spent a year drawing light up sneakers? You did? I can do heels? I don't think I can do heels. Like, bro, look at this foot. That's a good ass foot, like in the sketch. But tell me to put a shoe over that, and I'm fucking cooked. I can do blade, like draw? Yoka, like, next question. Yes? Oh, okay. Drac feet. I made a scrumptious poster of him. Oh, hell yeah, let's go. I want to see. Bro, like, I could draw feet, but I can't. Well, it's still a weird looking foot. But, like, tell me to put a shoe on this. Fuck. Oh, I gotta put some greaves on this. My parents thought I met a guy and I had to show my phone case, and they're like, oh, you're just ill. I can't. Terrifying moment when someone just opens your sketchbook. That feels like such an invasion of privacy. I hate that. Shut me up. This leg is a little weird right now, but that'll be fixed with armor. Coffee black just like my metal. Oh, chat. I can't wait till I start adding the chainmail. I said I was gonna add chainmail onto this armor. Gonna be opening Clip Studio to pop in a chain brush. And they just have a look of questions. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Ed up. Surely just chainmail sleeve size shirt. Yeah. Off top of it, is there a story behind your drawing? Right now, kind of, a little bit. It's more of just like a symbolic painting, kind of. This is Drac, my main model. This is Avis, which is the model I'm using right now. I use him for art streams and horror games. But Drac and Avis are they have a pretty bad relationship. I always like to make Avis torturing Drac somehow in all of my art with both of them together. It's just kind of like a theme I have going on. There is kind of a story, but that's not revealed yet. I'm still getting ready to release that publicly. Maybe I'll write some lore while archive entries. Oh, that's something I could do, Chad. I could work on some archive entries or some lore while I'm on my iPad. See if I actually end up doing that, but that's something I could do. Feels strong, man. Listen, one day, chat, you will get your lore. One day. And I promise it's good. I feel like I've been overhyping it. Me. But yeah, one day you guys will get your full lore. I will make some more archive entries. I have had some in my head for a bit. I just haven't been able to physically make them. I've only done 2. Remember when I said I was gonna do them twice a month? I mean, you guys got your lore video on the short one. 2 years crumb of lore. It's okay. I'll get to it. I promise. I'm just a little strange. Listen, I was gonna work on more, but then I was like, oh fuck, I can't draw what I want to draw. I can't make it the way I want it to be. And I have really high like hopes and expectations for the lore stuff. And I like what's it called? Like really strong ideas for what I want. So it's like if it's not good, then I don't want to do it, you know? I don't want to do it if I'm not going to be happy with it. All right, anyways, chat. I'm going to go raid into my daughter. You guys are not in the Discord. Make sure you guys join the Discord. I am not going to be streaming for the next week because I am going to be in another I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be gone. So I will be back in a week and a half. I will see you guys when I'm back. Noodle, thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. We're gonna be raiding into my daughter, my VTuber child, Laura the Explorer. They're doing their Hispanic Heritage Month stream. Make sure you give them lots of love, read their rules, be respectful. I will see you guys later. Thank you, everyone.